the new 1370 The Buzz. The Buzz.
Thanks for tuning in to Suki Says on WBZH The Buzz. I have the Zombie King here on the line right now, Mr. Arthur Suydam. Arthur, how are you?
I'm well. Greetings from New York.
Tell me, if you would, about when you first got into illustration.
Well, what exactly would you like to know?
Were you doodling one day and you were like, darn?
Well, when I was about 5 years old, I was burned very badly. I was in a fire. So I was actually in the hospital for about a year. And as is customary, when someone's in a hospital, your parents used to bring you flowers and magazines and that kind of thing. And so my parents were bringing me comic books. So I was reading comic books while I was convalescing in the hospital. And then when I got out of the hospital, as soon as my hands healed, it took some years before I could really hold a pencil correctly again. But once my hands started to heal, I started to draw. I started to draw comics, and it's just, a lot of other kids do the same thing where they draw. They draw when they're younger. Some of them give it up and move on to something else. But for me, I stuck with it. And then basically, when you get around high school age, you're looking at what you want to do for a career for your life. You look at what you can do, and I was a professional musician at the time. I was training to be a professional tennis player. But also I had these, decades of work that I put in and working on my drawing and writing skills. So my senior year of high school, I went to DC Comics and went to see an editor who was handling all the horror line of DC Comics. He was also the art director for Warren Publishing, and he hired me on the spot. Actually, on my way to Warren, that's Creepy and Eerie magazine, and had Vampirella as a magazine, had all the artists and writers from EC Comics from the 1950s that specialized in doing horror stories. And on my way to their offices, I stopped off at DC and saw Joe Orlando, and he said, "Don't go there, stay here." And he gave me a script right off the bat, and he told me, "Hey, I've got 250 more scripts in this drawer here. As soon as you're done with that, they're all sitting here waiting for you." And so that's basically how I got my start.
Now, you haven't just done comics. You've done, CD covers, magazines, obviously comics. You've kind of run the gamut for drawing. Do you have a preference?
I'm considered by most to be a comic creator. So comic creator, there really aren't many of them around, especially working for the mainstreams. That's basically somebody who does it all themselves. So I'm a writer. I think I'm a writer first, and then maybe an artist second. And I'm also a musician as well, so I've made my professional musician. I used to write a lot of soundtracks for horror movies. I was called on as a composer, as a studio lead vocalist, and a studio lead guitar player as well.
So you sit there and you read the horror script and you think of how to make people crap their pants even more with the music?
Something like that. Actually, I never read the script. They just said, "Hey, I need some music. Here's what the movie's about," and in one sentence they would tell me what the movie's about, and then I would start. I'd go and write to write some songs. Either they'd call me in directly to the studio and say, "Here's what we need you to do today. Here's the song you're singing today. Here are the words, and here's the melody," and that kind of thing.
Do you have a favorite figure or character that you like to draw?
Favorite figure or character I like to draw? I don't think I have any one single character that I prefer drawing. I'm kind of classically trained as an anatomical artist, so one of the reasons I love doing the zombies is, for me, it's kind of what I've always done for my own studies, and it kind of relaxes me drawing anatomy. So it was a natural fit for me. So I love doing the zombies. It was just a real natural fit for me. Kind of like in music, as a musician, you try different genres of music, and hopefully eventually find one that really fits you like a pair of shoes, that like an old pair of shoes fits you. With me in music, I found American roots music, and I was training to be a jazz guitar player and studying some classical guitar, and I found roots music, and that just fit me like a glove, and so that's what I stuck with. And the same thing illustration-wise, when I discovered anatomical art, like the pencil drawings of charcoal drawings of Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. Once I saw those, I said, well, this is kind of what I want to do, but I like to do it rather than a religious subject matter, to do it for what I love, which was comic books, fantasy comic books and book covers, paperback book covers and magazine covers and that kind of thing.
Okay, I can see that. I guess it'll never ever get boring because every zombie decomposes at a different pace, so they're all different.
If you do them right. That's the challenge of doing the zombies is, skulls, when you strip them all down, skulls all look the same. A female skull is slightly more narrow than a male skull, but essentially, so the trick is really to, when you're working on zombies, is to give each one of them a very distinct personality, make them very distinctly different from one another. And so that's really been the challenge of working on the Marvel zombies and some of the zombie stuff, is to try not to repeat myself, and that keeps it fun and it keeps it challenging for me.
Are you stoked for Wizard World?
Am I stoked? Oh yeah, I'm stoked for Wizard World. Really looking forward to it. I love the Wizard shows. I like working with the Wizard Company. They're a great company. I love working on their tours. They treat the artists really well, and so we try to respond accordingly and then treat them well as well. So looking forward to Philly. That's always a great show. And this year it's a 4-day show, and the more days, the better. The longer it goes on, the better it is for me.
Oh, it's the biggest show yet.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that, but it's really looking forward to it. We just came from doing I just came from doing 4 shows every weekend. I did one in Calgary. From Calgary, I went to Dallas, and then from Dallas, I went to Phoenix Comic-Con. I did all their big shows, and they were huge. They were enormous shows with a really high attendance. And here's the Wizard show, and there's another one. So we're expecting it to be a really great show, maybe the best Wizard show of all.
Has anyone ever pulled something out that surprises you for you to sign, like something you may not even remember having drawn?
Well, I remember everything.
That's good.
That's one of the things about being an illustrator, is the way, as Kevin Trudeau has taught us with his Miracle Memory course, that the way the actual brain works and remembers things is actually through imagery. So illustrators tend to have very accurate memories. So nobody's ever stumped me bringing anything out that I don't remember, but people do stump me at the shows all the time, bringing up things that I've never seen before. Occasionally they'll bring a magazine or a book, either from the United States or from another country, and ask me to sign that, something that I've never seen before. And so that's always a surprise.
Oh, I like it. Well, thank you for talking to me. I'll see you this weekend.
Okay, looking forward to it.
You take care now.
I come over and say hello.
Oh, I will.
All right, take care. Have a good day.